So, Google. They've been making phones for a while now, but their flagship phones really haven't taken off. But the Pixel line, the A series, kinda has. From the Pixel 3a into the Pixel 4a, both are weaker and tiny versions of its bigger brother, the Pixel 4a 5G is different. It has the same processor as the flagship model, the Pixel 5, the same cameras and their reputation to go with them, to their design, inside and out, that are flat out remarkably similar. Funny thing is that this Pixel, the Pixel 4a 5G, is actually the biggest new Pixel you can buy with the 6.2-inch screen on it, which, compared to any new phone, is on the small size. Only the smallest of S21s or base iPhones are the similar. Now, a lot of power users really love big screens. To gaming, to videos, and multitasking, there are good reasons for a large screen on your phone. But the Pixel has really prioritized usability over everything. Take the fingerprint sensor, for example, and pulling out of your pocket automatically unlocked and ready to use is really much better than something like a Face ID system where you have to take off your mask or sunglasses or whatever to line up to your face to unlock your phone. Now, that could be a small thing, but added up a couple hundreds or thousands of times, and that becomes into a quite significant small amount of time each time. Now, that doesn't really cover why the screen needs to be small, but what does is one-handed usability. Although using one hand isn't as easy as something as a small phone as an iPhone SE, using this phone with its size or its smaller brothers is very convenient and fast and intentional with its uses. Big bonus though on the vibration motor. It's something you really take for granted, but on a lot of cheap phones or mid-range phones, they are not that good. This vibration motor is as good as any flagship. It's something you take for granted, but really notice when it's actually missing. So for example, using an iPhone or Samsung may be better for watching a ton of videos, sure, but Google's Pixel flows better as a more direct device. Now that doesn't mean the screen is bad, mind you. It is a beautiful, colorful OLED display. But the main problem with it is that it doesn't get quite as bright as I wish it would outdoors, but it's still plenty usable. The Pixel 5, however, is the smaller brother, it's a smaller screen, and it's a similar OLED display. However, it has a 90 Hz screen, a fast refresh rate display. This one, the Pixel 4a 5G, only has a 60 Hz display, which is fine, but it's not as noticeably fast as some of the newest phones out there. For reference, every TV or iPhone you've seen has only ever been 60 Hz, most likely on the TV side. Which isn't bad, but a high refresh rate just means it's much more smooth and fluid. OnePlus and Samsung both offer high refresh rate screens on some devices, which really makes the software way more lively. Software, though, is Google's specialty. I don't know if you're aware, but they are the creator of Android themselves. So, despite only having a 60 Hz display, I assure you, this thing is fluent and smooth throughout all of the software and interfaces. Transitions are minimal and fast, with everything having a buttery-like flow, with updates being guaranteed for 3 years, and they come fast as well. These things really age quite well because of that. On top of the aging well point, the 4a, the 4a 5G, and the Pixel 5 all have a ton of third-party accessories. To Ghosted, dbrand, Moment, and Pixel's very own first-party cases, there's a lot to dress up this phone to make it feel new. Overall, the build quality is phenomenal. It's unashamedly plastic inside and out, but it feels great. It feels very durable, and I'm not really worried about dropping it or scratching it versus something with a glass back or even a fake plastic glass back. If I weren't such a klutz, I would just wear it naked all the time. But honestly, the first-party accessories are just, as I mentioned, phenomenal. While generic of a design, it doesn't go out of fashion too bad. The software updates and simple design means that the amount of hiccups or issues on this device is pretty much none. Whether I get a OnePlus or a Samsung, whatever the Android brand is, I always tend to have to turn it off and turn it back on because there's some data issue or weird bug that goes on that can't be fixed without turning it on and off again. They're just a bunch of these little gremlins hiding inside of it because the lack of software updates or, well, software optimization. The current Pixels, the Pixel 4a 5G and the Pixel 5, both use a Snapdragon 765. And that is a mid-range processor for sure, but I've never really noticed any performance issues, and I never thought of it being a less high-end chip while using it. To playing Call of Duty or League of Legends on the phone, or just having a ton of tabs open, it just works so well. In fact, I never ever thought of the fact when using it due to how well things just work. Phone call quality and side tone is great. The front and bottom facing speakers are nothing to scoff at, with a headphone jack up top if they don't quite satisfy your needs. But above all else, there are two things you always have to mention for any Pixel: the price and the camera quality. For the Pixel 5 and the Pixel 4a 5G, there's the normal wide-angle lens on the back and a 2x telephoto lens for zooming, which zoom-wise, 2x telephoto is kind of weak, but the results speak for themselves. Shot after shot, these photos are as good as any flagship and better than nearly all that it comes against. Low light used to be Pixel's leap ahead, but Apple and others have caught up a lot. But the results for how little light there were is hard to really show versus when you were there and you see how dark it really is. The front-facing camera is solid, and the portrait mode, front and back, is unashamedly strong. It does look good, deals with hair better than the Pixel 3a for sure, but for the front you get a very wide angle of view, which can be really handy for multiple people in a single selfie. All of that stuff while being only $500. Now, $500 is a significant amount of money. A mid-range phone, though, that's quite a lot less. Most flagships nowadays, the lower end, start around $700 to $800. The Pixel 5, for example, is $700. But you do get two things with the Pixel 5 this doesn't have. There's more metal in the build quality with a thick paint coating versus plastic, and it has wireless charging in the 90Hz refresh rate display. Ditto for this thing for not having wireless charging, because that would have been a really nice feature. Yeah. But that's the retail price. Pixels nearly always get discounted, at least $50. You could get this for at least $450. For me, T-Mobile has a very infrequent but consistent sale for Pixels, and they knock off even more. I got my Pixel 4a 5G for only $350. And especially when this gets replaced, this is going to be in the $200, $300 category with constant updates. This phone is halfway through its life, or maybe even more because of COVID, but that just means you're more likely to get a really darn good deal on it. Google's Pixels offer everything you need with Apple-like refinement for the Android world. So, yeah, I do think it's worth considering a Google Pixel. But anyways, thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing. I'm going to have a lot more videos coming out later on this year, and I hope you take care. See you next time.